Lightened rifles were under serious consideration as early as 1942. A batch of 30 lightened rifles were ordered for troop trials to be completed by October 1943. They were converted at Enfield and completed by September 1943. No. 4 rifles from regular production, shortened and fitted with flash hiders. Initial first production No. 5 rifles from Fazakerley have FE prefix serials dated between 244 and 344. That's February and March of 1944. Lightened rifles with detachable butts were requested for airborne troops, so 20 were ordered. 3 different takedown variations made by contractors, but nothing further was done. The No. 5 rifle was approved in September 1944, and many parts in early production were lightened. However, as manufacture proceeded, more became interchanged on the No. 4 rifle, and some lightweight parts are only seen on early production No. 5 rifles. Early rifles did not have a metal fore-end cap, but it was introduced to prevent moisture entering the end grain, so many No. 5 rifles were not fitted with a fore-end cap at all. Trigger guards were at first the fabricated type, and a flat steel plate fitted between the rubber pad and stock. 2 marks of foresight and 800-yard back sights were announced. The Mark I rear sight is a machined Singer with fine adjustment, while the Mark II is pressed sheet steel. Later changes introduced for the No. 5 were marking of the fore-end and magazine with the serial number. This was also applied to No. 4 rifles in service. As with the No. 4 rifle, some components were made by private contractors and some parts interchangeable with the No. 4. Manufacture at Fazakerley and BSA Shirley continued after the end of the war, with dates as late as 1948 being noted. A new knife bayonet was introduced, a style that has influenced design to the present. This has an 8-inch Bowie blade and wooden grip secured by 2 screws. Very early No. 5 bayonets had only 1 securing screw. After grenade trials, rifles used an action body braced between the butt socket and upper part of the body. 100 modified No. 5 rifles with inserted bodies were ordered from BSA Shirley. This reinforced was used to mount the trigger, and the test rifles engraved on the left side of the body with the project number. The No. 5 Mark I rifle was popular with troops for its size and weight, but there were many complaints about its inability to shoot consistently. Shooting was even found to vary from batch to batch. The consensus of opinion was that removal of steel from the rear of the action body near the locking shoulders allowed the body to flex at the moment of maximum stress. The remedy was simple: replace the No. 5 body with the No. 4, which some armourers did in the Far East. Official conclusion that the Wandering Zero was inherent in the design saw the No. 5 rifle declared obsolescent in July 1947, and in late September, Fazakerley returned to the No. 4 rifle production, the Mark II model.
Now to strip the rifle No. 5, the safety, make sure there's no ammunition. You have to stand the side up to remove the bolt. Remove the front. Now this is the part when you've got a nice mint specimen. You've got to be very careful to expand that and hold it out so it doesn't gouge the fore end. Then you can remove the handguard. Remove the magazine. The front trigger guard screw, often called the king screw. On the No. 4 series and the No. 5s, unlike the No. 1s, they actually have split washer, which people often lose before they put them back together. Now the rear trigger guard screw, you can actually interchange that one with a No. 1 screw, but the difference is the No. 1 screw's flat on the inside with a round head. The No. 4, No. 5 series actually has a tapered head. Now remove the trigger guard. Again, it's lightened at the back compared to the early No. 4s. It's lightened here. But you will find the same style of trigger guard on some of the later No. 4 rifles. Now the fore end should come off. Again, another piece you have to be very careful, it always falls out and is often lost. This is one of the rare ones that's quite solid. There's a little metal sleeve inside the front screw hole there. Now at this point we can see one of the lightning cuts on the number 5 that's not on the number 4 is in the butt socket here, is cut away. The sear even is lightened, there's a piece milled into the back of the sear under there. And again the very back of the receiver, of the action, is milled. The back sight's the standard style, click adjustable back sight. Battle peep, but these are they're sighted to 800 yards instead of 1300. To remove the butt plate, now it's a 2-piece screw system with actually the short one should be on the top, which screws into the longer tube. Now you've got your rubber pad. On the very early models, there's actually a tin plate, the very early production, in behind the rubber pad. This one being 1946, there's no tin plate. For lightness, the butt's hollowed out as well. The handguard retaining ring, you just always make sure that the part for the handguard to slide in's in the upper position so it doesn't foul on the forend. Slip him in, just make sure that's in the right spot, upside down, fit the trigger guard, make sure that little metal collar's in the right position there, hasn't fell out. The front trigger guard screw, make sure the split washer's still on it. A couple of turns, then the rear trigger guard screw. Now, as on all number 1 and number 4 rifles, that should be done up as tight as possible. The forend check to make sure that there's no up and down movement. If there is, that little metal collar inside has to be shortened a fraction. And take that up. Now the handguard, the band, making sure that the screw feeds in from the same side as the rear trigger guard screw. And again, parting that so that you don't gouge the forend. The swivel in place so that the fitting's straight up in the air, the swivel itself's leaning towards the rifle. The butt plate. Usually the short one from the top. Side up. Bolt head in line with the button down, bolt head down, and safety catch on.
So development for the number 4 and number 5 rifles focused on spigot projectors with new grenade types.